Working in a prison feels repetitive most days. Same routines, same faces, same concrete halls under buzzing lights. You wake up early, walk the same paths, answer the same questions, break up the same fights. Over time, you begin to expect predictability. But every now and then, someone stands out. Not because they're violent or disruptive, but because they break the rhythm in a way that makes you stop and think. This guy? He never caused trouble. He wasn't loud or aggressive. He kept to himself, followed every rule, and barely spoke unless spoken to. His cell was always spotless. Floor mopped, books stacked in order by size, bed made tighter than regulations required. Honestly, I wouldn't have remembered him at all if he hadn't handed me that first piece of paper. It was during a quiet evening round, when the block had settled into its usual hum. He approached me, calm, composed, and said, "Hey, I made something." He handed me a sheet of paper. At first glance, it looked like a simple sketch, but as I looked closer, I realized it was a detailed floor plan, the layout of our wing, drawn with incredible precision. It included hallway dimensions, exit points, surveillance cameras, patrol shifts, and even estimated response times based on past drills. I stared at him. "What is this?" He smiled. "An escape plan. Kind of. Don't worry, it's just for fun. Helps me think. Like a game of chess." Naturally, we took it seriously. Reported it, logged it, cross-checked every part of the drawing against our internal maps. It was eerily accurate, not perfect, but close enough to raise alarms. We did a sweep of his cell. No contraband, no tools, no evidence of anything beyond thought. He wasn't hiding anything. He wasn't planning a breakout. He was apparently just sketching for the sake of logic. The next week, he gave us another. It was even more detailed. This time, he'd added contingencies. Things like alternative exit routes, delays caused by hallway congestion, blind spots during shift rotations. It read like something out of a security consultant's portfolio. We asked him again what he was doing. He told us he used to be an engineer. Structural analysis, if I remember right. Said he needed to keep his brain engaged, otherwise he'd spiral. "I don't want to escape," he said. "I just want to solve something." And he meant it. His tone wasn't defensive or arrogant, just matter of fact. From then on, it became a routine. Every 3 to 5 days, a new plan. He'd give it to whichever officer was walking rounds that evening. Some guards started to expect it, even joke about it. "Let's see what version 6.0 looks like today," one said. Some of the plans had labels, things like scenario, blackout event, or diversion strategy, low resource mode. One included calculations for how long it would take to crawl through a ventilation shaft, assuming resistance from airflow. It was oddly impressive. If he had actually tried to escape, I might have respected the effort. One day I asked him directly, "Why go through all this?" He looked at me and said, "Because it gives me control. Out there, I lost everything. In here, I can design the world on paper, perfectly. No errors, no variables I can't manage." There was something sad about that. Not tragic in a dramatic way, just quietly heavy. We kept monitoring him, of course. Every plan got logged. His cell got inspected daily. But there was never anything unusual. No missing screws, no maps of hidden corners. Just paper, pencil, and logic. Sometimes he'd scribble notes in the margins, like redundancy point or simulate panic protocol. He once made a fold-out diagram that showed how guard responses might change if someone screamed at a specific time during lunch hour. He never showed emotion, but also never seemed cold. Just focused. Like a scientist running endless tests inside his own mind. 6 months after the first drawing, he gave me one last plan. It had no arrows, no labels, no maps. Just one line, centered perfectly on the page. The safest way out is staying in. He stopped after that. No more sketches, no more updates. But his routine remained unchanged. Still cleaned his cell to perfection. Still nodded politely at passing officers. Still watched the unit with quiet intensity, as though collecting data in his head. Sometimes I wonder, was this all therapy? A way of processing guilt or trauma? Or maybe, just maybe, he found peace in the idea that prison, with its walls and schedules, offered a kind of structure that the outside world couldn't. He never asked for early release, never filed complaints, never cried. He just existed, within the system. And maybe, by building models of how it worked, he convinced himself that he was in control. In his own strange way, I think he found exactly what he needed. And in that sense, he won.